Hello everyone, and welcome to our game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Ntinsky, and he is in the Gadjah Mada, a tier 7 Pan-Asian destroyer, and I'm terribly sorry if I'm mispronouncing things. Now he's on the map Neighbors in a 3-point domination game. It's a tier 7 battle, there is no carrier around, it's pretty decent matchmaking, no radar, quite a few destroyers, and he's starting off by going here towards the sea camp. Now, it's a while until something happens, so I've increased the speed right now. And yeah, I just wanted to show you how the initial deployment looked like. So basically we have a lot of destroyers coming here towards the sea cap. He was the closest one, so obviously he went there. Unfortunately we have 3 destroyers going towards sea, which is, let's just say, overkill. And we have quite a few ships here coming to support, which is nice. And then we have quite a force going towards A. And nobody is really helping out at B all that much. It looks like the enemy team has a few destroyers there. We have a Minekase who is delaying the cap. Let's hope he isn't getting topped in his smoke or something. And yeah, let's hope that the friendlies are going to help at B. Now Ntinsky is on his way, and I think we can potentially just go down to regular speed here. So he has some deep water torps on the way. There is a Fiji in that smoke, so they're probably aimed for the Fiji. Friendly destroyer went down, so not a great start to the game. The friendlies who are going at A don't actually have a destroyer to support them, so it's a pretty bad idea to just push A, in my opinion, for them. Also, we have the usual problem, like, the sea cap has the advantage of the islands. Basically, the friendly team is in a great position if they hold C. So, why you would push A, especially if you don't have destroyer support, is beyond me. But that's just what happens. Now, with deep water torps, you can't torpedo the destroyers here. All he could do was try to torpedo the Fiji, and he has to be aware that there might be enemy torpedoes coming his way. He also will need support if he wants to pick a gunfight with those guys. Now we have 2 Hatsuharus who are coming in from the other side. And there's a Fiji. Now he has his smoke ready, so he can always disappear if he needs to. You don't really want to be in a gunfight with a Fiji, I feel like, in a destroyer. So he's smoking up here, because it might be a good opportunity to do some damage. Now, Fiji is the biggest threat here, I suppose, and very low, so that Fiji is dealt with. Now he can help engage those destroyers. He has to be aware that those destroyers are most likely torpedoing his smoke screen if they have torpedoes ready, so that's something to watch out for. And that's probably why he's reversing. Like, they shouldn't have an angle to torpedo him right here. The torpedoes are probably going more towards his front. Now it looks like the enemy destroyers have left, and he is moving out here.
I need intelligence data.
Now, our nice little battleship force here at the A cap is asking for intelligence data, despite the fact that they have known for 6 minutes now that they didn't have a destroyer with them. So I guess watching the minimap would have been very helpful for them. So now they are sailing into 2 destroyers here, which will probably not end so well for them. If only they would have a way of knowing that they were pushing in destroyers and didn't have support, like a minimap. Oh well. So Ntinsky is torpedoing here. It's kind of risky because there is a friendly New Mexico. I guess he doesn't expect New Mexico to push or survive. Like, this New Mexico could sail into those torps. But looks like New Mexico is already turning away, so everything's fine. Now, cap-wise, it's looking decent for the friendlies. Ship-wise, not so much. We get a torpedo here on the König, unfortunately just one. Didn't get a flooding, so maybe damage con was currently running. So he's detected here because he's close enough. He could just start shooting here, I suppose, and that's what he's doing. Now smoke is almost ready, so he's already slowing down, popping his smoke, and there is a nice fire. So this König is hopefully going down here. Well, Almost. Finally. Okay. So that's dealt with. But there are 2 enemy battleships actually pushing the B camp. Now, I've often stated how big of an advantage it is to hold the C cap with the cruisers who can just shoot over the island and defend B. I'm not sure if these cruisers are in very good positions for that just yet, but they could just take them. Now, the force at A that tried to push into destroyers before battleships got taken out. Shocking. It's clearly shocking. So, the friendly team is running pretty low on ships. Now, fortunately, torpedoes are soon ready, and like those 2 battleships are prime targets currently. So he's also spreading the love with his fires around, trying to get fires going on both ships. His smoke is almost running out, and he's a little bit too close. That's 1 battleship dealt with, and he is far enough that he can soon escape detection from the König, I suppose. Or I guess he could just continue shooting. Well, his König's done for. Or at least almost. It looks like the battleships just refuse to go down when they are on very low health. But there you go.
Enemy battleship foundered.
So, no complete disaster just yet, but not looking too great. Like, the friendly's advantage are simply the points. So now they have to also use like the superior positioning. With a destroyer spotting here, like the cruisers can definitely stay behind islands here and try to make something work. Or I guess they could just push into open water into the enemy battleships. On the bright side, if the cruisers get closer, they will be more help with dealing with the destroyers, I suppose. But we shall see. Now, Ntinsky here is obviously in a good position to stop enemy battleships pushing with deep water torpedoes. And he has another smoke screen ready, so he's just going to smoke here and shoot some stuff. Considering that his cruisers are here, like in the open water, he can use them to spot for him. And he doesn't have to be the one providing spotting. Now, we also have a battleship, the Iron Duke, who is, as you would expect, healthy in the backline. Is he healthy? Full health battleship in the backline. Nobody is surprised. I mean, it's only been 10 minutes, right? Like, you can't really get to the front line in 10 minutes in a battleship, now can you? That would require you to press the W key. And that requires a lot of skill these days. Now, the cruisers have been taken out, that's not so good. And, oh, there are torps coming. But it looks... yeah, okay, they would have run out anyway. So, he can't torpedo destroyers in their smoke, which is a shame. What he could torpedo is the battleships if he can spot them. Now, he has still his full health battleship backup over there. Not sure how much use this guy will be. Also keep in mind they are still facing 3 destroyers, so this Iron Duke might just find himself facing a lot of fish. On the bright side, the friendlies still have 2 capture points, but they are behind on points as well, so it's like they have to defend B, they have to sink a lot of ships, and they have to hope that the enemy team is utterly incompetent from here on out. So let's see. Now, there is a Mars. And he is on reasonably low health. So that's a fight he can certainly win. Mars immediately smokes because he knows he's on low health and he'd rather stay alive. He also probably knows that he can't be torpedoed. So he doesn't even have to be afraid of that, and he can probably hydro. So Anshan is joining the fun. And right now you'd expect like the whole enemy team focusing to destroyer here, but he's not really taking an awful lot of damage here. I think the Mars is still shooting him, right? Not sure if anyone else is. So there are torps. And there is a dodge. Now, this Mars seems to be shooting armor piercing. And yeah, I know, German destroyers good armor piercing, not if you face the front of a ship. So,
Enemy destroyer foundered.
that's a Kraken unleashed. That's only 4 enemy ships remaining, and the friendly team has almost caught up points. Thing, of course, is they are 2 against 4, and the enemy team still has a destroyer. Iron Duke is still reasonably healthy. It looks like the Iron Duke is trying to kite away.
Engine boost deactivated.
Probably a good choice. Like, if the Iron Duke can keep those guys busy, that will help. Like, because the friendlies have the cap advantage, so time is kind of on their side. So what the Iron Duke wants to do is minimize the damage he takes and, like, lead those guys on a wild goose chase around a zone wall or something. Like, if the enemy team was smart, they'd just take a cap and basically win. But, you know, why do that if you can't just sail closer to a zone wall? Now, meanwhile, Ntinsky here is realizing how important points are to winning a game, so he's heading for A. He got his torps on the way, so maybe they'll get a nice hit, maybe they won't. But he will go and focus on capping A because that's the winning move. And it looks like there might be a few torpedoes incoming here. And that's nice. So Gneisenau is on very low health, he will need to damage Con here. Now we have an Iron Duke, good fire chance, so if he can set the fire on the Gneisenau, that would be helpful. Ntinsky here is contemplating shooting, he gets off 1 salvo, and now he is just happier. Like, considering the range, the next salvo probably wouldn't hit. It was a reasonable gamble here. If he got a fire, it would have been... well, it would have probably sunk this Gneisenau, and that would have been amazing. Unfortunately, didn't happen. But there is no reason to chase those ships. The winning move is to go cap. Now maybe the Iron Duke can do something about the Gneisenau. Then again, I mean, just because there's a good fire chance doesn't mean he actually gets the fires. And, well, looks like he didn't get anything. So, let's speed this up a tiny bit. Now, Ntinsky here is making the smart move, he is capping, and the enemy team all sailed further away from objective because... I don't know. So, now all 3 caps are in the friendly possession, and they've almost reached... well, now they've overtaken the enemy at points. Thing, of course, is it's still 4 minutes left. Now, I assume the Mitsuki will go for C. And this Normandy has realized that, you know, capture points, they actually exist. So, I think we'll reduce the speed here now again. And let's just see. So there's nothing he can do against the enemy taking the C cap, but he can delay them taking B as well. Like, if the enemy gets C, and he can keep B contested, then he'll just win. He also has a nice points lead by now, so even if the enemy flips B, it depends how long it takes the enemy to capture B, if this points lead will be enough, I would say. So he has some torps on the way. Of course, deep water torps pretty sneaky, so will be hard to dodge for the enemy. So basically the enemy just has to try to move as unpredictably as possible and hope that's enough. Well, this Normandy isn't moving all that unpredictable, I suppose. And there is a Confederate and a high caliber. Unfortunately though, not enough to sink the Normandy. The Normandy was just too healthy. But it did help with some resets. Now, friendly team has about 100 point lead. And currently he isn't gaining any lead because the center is contested. So he has to keep it just contested long enough that this lead is basically enough to win. Now, I don't think the enemy team can reach the A cap to contest it too, but we don't know. There is certainly a Mitsuki on the way. I'm not sure where the Gneisenau went. The Gneisenau is on low health, so maybe the Gneisenau just tries to stay far enough away that He can be sunk. I also wouldn't be surprised if the Ignition now is trying to sneak up on A. Then again, this might be a smart move, and I'm not entirely sure how smart the enemy team will react, considering that they ignored caps for so long. Now, Ntinsky is doing his best to keep the enemy team interrupted. It's 1.5 minutes left.
Smoke screen set.
At this point, he could potentially just let the enemy team have the B cap, I suppose. But it's very tempting to try to sink this Normandy. He has a fire on the Normandy going. Now he's trying to interrupt the York as well. But that was a little bit too late. So he's switching back to the Normandy, trying to get the Normandy side. So now the enemy team will catch up on points. But it's only 1 minute left. So Normandy managed to get rid of the fire with 3k hit points left, and the Normandy is wisely disengaging. And there's another fire. So is that enough? Oh, he's healing against the fire. He's so close to sinking this guy. So Ntinsky is getting pretty low on health, so might be a good time to just drop into concealment. And I think his lead is enough here, so it should work out. Now his focus should be on surviving, to be honest. So he has some torps in the water as well, and it's 20 seconds remaining. Fire's still going, but the Normandy can compensate with a heal. And yeah, as you can see, the lead was enough, so it's simply a win here. And maybe he can even get a torp hit before it's all gone. Or a kill.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
So here we are with the results. Ntinsky earned himself 3054 base experience, and amazingly played by him. He had to carry really hard here, but he managed. Found himself a solo warrior, a confederate, a kraken, and a high caliber, scoring 167 points of damage, sinking 6 enemy ships, and yeah, this was a joy to watch. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. And I'll see you guys next time.